Okay, welcome to week 6, final week. Unless you all are just dying for one more week, we can have like an open Q&A maybe next week and do some
Oh,
questions.
you know what? That would be really cool for those
Okay.
who want to maybe pop in. Yep.
Okay, well, let's plan on that. We'll do an open Q&A. Um, this
Maybe
week,
we'll record that one. That will be like you have to be on to ask the questions.
that's right. That's right. Okay, so this one is really cool. And we talked about it. We've talked about it, like hinted at it. But this is going to save your bacon. Okay, so
We all like bacon.
we all love bacon.
Nietzsche might not, but I do.
Surely bacon is it shred compatible?
In Missouri.
So I'm talking about. Okay, so tonight's all about content, and tonight is all about saving you time. I'm not even going to spend that much time on the deck here, so let's just go ahead and hop to the web. So, we built the soundboard to meet those two needs of I don't know what to say, I don't have time to post. All right. Now, a lot of people say, James, the soundboard's really cool, but I still have to think about it every day because I have to go there and post. All right, so here's the solution. And I want you to become very familiar with Buffer. So we're going to spend a little time here talking about Buffer and all the ways that it makes your life better, especially when combined with the soundboard content. So Buffer is a free .com site, and it also has a free app that works on your phone. What it does is it lets you connect your multiple social media profiles to one hub, which is nice. But the killer feature is that it lets you schedule stuff out ahead of time, which I'm about to show you how. And then it provides a very robust set of analytics to get a gauge on how your messages are doing. Okay, so when you first go sign up for Buffer, it's going to bring you to this page. And what it lets you do is it lets you connect one profile per platform for free. Okay, so you can see I've got my personal Twitter, my personal Facebook, and LinkedIn all hooked in. Now, if you are a power Facebook user and you want to use your Facebook personal profile and a business page that you manage and potentially a group, then you do have to upgrade to their $10 a month plan. And of course, this is a separate service from Soundboard, separate fee. But if you're a power user, then that's what you got to do. But if you just want to do your personal, it's free. We'll talk about Instagram a little bit more in a minute because there's a caveat there. So let's go ahead and hop to Soundboard because I want to show you how to do this because it's so cool and this has become such a popular feature. So this is National Women's Health Week. So let's find that thing. We want to be involved in this. Okay, so we've got this great image for National Women's Health Week, okay? So what you can do is, of course, these buttons are going to make the content go out right then, but we want to send it out through Buffer. We want to schedule this. So when you hit the Buffer button, it's going to bring up your Buffer power scheduler, all right? And so you can see I've got my Facebook and my Twitter and my LinkedIn turned on. Let's take a look at each one of these. So here's how the tweet is going to look. It's already got the image hooked in there, and then here's a nice looking phrase and some good hashtags to go with it. So we're included in these conversations. So that's great. Now, Facebook, we've got the image ready to go, but for some reason, and this is a really dumb reason if you want to ever read it, why is it necessary to manually enter a message for Facebook? Buffer has a really dumb reason. But if you want to use the suggested text here, you have to actually come manually copy and paste it into Facebook. You can type your own if you want, but it's there if you want to use it. Okay, so now we've got our good looking Facebook post. And then one could argue if this is appropriate for LinkedIn or not. I'm going to turn LinkedIn off on this one. Okay, but here's where things get really cool is because when you click this,
And you have to be careful not to hit add to queue.
well, in a minute, I'm going to show you why add to queue is a better choice,
Okay.
actually. But we want to schedule this, okay? And so typically, peak Facebook times, Twitter doesn't matter. Twitter can go out whenever. Peak Facebook is 6 to 8 a.m. and 6 to 9 p.m. typically.
6 to 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
from 6 to 9 p.m.
Yep.
Okay.
But I've missed my window for tonight. So I'm going to schedule this to go out tomorrow morning, right in the middle of peak times. Okay, so it's going to take a moment to schedule there, and then it brings us right back to Soundboard. So what you can do when you combine Soundboard content with Buffer is you can sit down in 20 or 30 minutes and you can schedule out multiple days worth of great content across many platforms. Okay, it's going to make your life a lot easier. So then we can go ahead and schedule something, and you can see we've put Buffer at the top because it's so popular. We can schedule an article to go out tomorrow night. And so it even lets you pick like what picture you want to put on for Twitter. Let's do that one. Naked feet are too troublesome for me. All right, so here's a nice little phrase to go with our Facebook. So we got to manually copy that. We're going to drop that into Facebook here. And then this is a great one for LinkedIn because I have to stand up and walk around at the office because I sit too long. All right, and so we can schedule this. And we want this to go out tomorrow night during peak times. All right, so now I know I've talked, I've slowed it down, but in about 8 clicks, all of our social media content for the entire day is taken care of tomorrow. So we don't have to think about posting. So you can see how convenient that gets when you think about posting 1 to 2 articles a day. You can, for Buffer's free service, they let you post up to 10 article or 10 posts to schedule 10 posts out. So if you're doing 1 to 2 a day, you can easily make that stretch across a week. Now, if you upgrade to their awesome plan, you can do up to 100. But I don't think that's necessary. But here's where it starts to get really, really cool. Okay, so we're back at our dashboard. Okay, so here we're under our content tab and we're in our queue. So you can see what we've got queued up for tomorrow. So this one's going out in the morning. You can change your time. This one's going out tomorrow night. And you can see how it's going to look on every platform if you want to click on the different platforms, okay? Now, once you start using Buffer, Buffer starts to take over and think for you. And this is a very good thing because it knows best what your audience wants. So I'm going to come over here to the Schedule tab. And I have, where'd it go? Let's see, another schedule. Did they just hide this behind the paywall? They did, y'all. They hid this behind the paywall. They did have this optimize your posts button that would set the time for you,
Oh.
and it would figure out what your audience was doing. Oh, that's so, like, I did this like 3 days ago and they moved it. Okay, well, we'll stick to what we know, which
Okay.
is, again, in that window of, just think about the peak times being when people are not at work and therefore on their phones more. So you may have a little spike at lunchtime. You might want to throw, mix it up and throw stuff in there at lunchtime. But oh shoot, man, that's such a bummer because this thing was so cool because it would go figure out what your audience was doing and when your peak times were. Anyway, adding another schedule is only part of our awesome and business plans. I'm going to do some homework on this because maybe they just moved it to optimal. All right, I'll figure that one out and email y'all. Sorry, or we'll talk about that one next week.
Sounds good.
Okay, so if they hid this one, it's going to break my heart. Okay, they didn't. Okay, so now let's look at analytics. Okay, and so what Buffer will tell you is 3 pieces of data that I find very helpful. 2 of them Facebook tells you: how many comments a post gets and how many likes a post gets. But Buffer also tells you your click-through rate, which is your actual readership. And that to me is way more valuable, because this one just got a sympathy like. Whoever my friend was that liked it did not read it. But when you start going back through your lists of your posts, you can start to see that maybe the likes and the comments aren't as valuable as you need them to be, because way more people are reading your stuff than are engaging with it. You know what I mean? And Facebook doesn't tell you this number, but Facebook keeps track of it. And if you're getting a lot of click-throughs, think back to, I guess, week 3 of our session, and thinking about the weight of posts and what happens to them. You know, if you want them to get shares and comments, but getting clicks is enough to keep a post alive in people's feeds longer. And so you have this, if you have a nice readership going on a post, then it's going to keep staying up at the top of other people's feeds. And so the other thing that you can do is, if you have a successful post like this, is you can hit this button. Y'all, there is nothing in the world wrong with repeating content across a multiple week span, because the likelihood of the same people seeing it is almost nil. And even if they do, we all know how we consume content on the internet. We have very short memories.
I never heard that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have read a number of white papers, especially on Twitter. There are big companies that will retweet and re-Facebook post the same thing 50 times in a week to ensure.
The motivational images come through and repeat from time to time.
Yeah.
I mean, it still are valuable.
Yeah. So take a look at this once you start posting, because to me, because Facebook would say, well, nobody gave a rip about that, but it's not true, because people read it. And so this is where I encourage you to try this. Start, doing this kind of stuff, but also, if you want to, run your personal stuff through here, because you can schedule it to go out, and just see, what kind of clicks you get on your photos. And you can also run, just occasionally, just as an experiment, drop your Juice Plus site in here with I mean, I know y'all need to be talking about Omega Blend right now. Drop that in there with a post about the Omega Blend, and just see what kind of click-throughs you get, because I don't think your site tells you if you get clicks, right? It just tells you if you get sales.
Our Juice Plus site?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just tells us, if you got a customer.
Yeah. So that could be an interesting, I think, interesting experiment to see if people are actually even getting there, because they're probably not going to engage with it. But if this number's going up, then people are checking it out. So all that to say, Buffer is super convenient, super time saver. It works great on your phone. But now let's talk about the Instagram piece of it. So it does say that you can connect your Instagram profile here. You can up to a point. So what happens is, when you connect your Instagram account, you have to have the Buffer app on your phone, and you have to have the Instagram app on your phone. And when you connect them, what's going to happen is you can create a post in Buffer and schedule it to go out on Instagram. But remember, Instagram is a totally closed universe. It does not allow outside systems to post to it like everything else on this page does. So what happens is, Buffer pops up a little reminder, hey, you need to go create this post on Instagram. And so what you have to do is, if the Buffer app's on your phone, the image is there, but you have to copy it over to your camera roll and then create the post on Instagram like you would anyway. So some people say it helps them because it helps them remember to do it, but other people say it adds a layer of complexity where they didn't have that layer before. So you can just decide if that's worth it to you or not. But I don't use it. I don't think it is. Have I showed y'all Instagram with soundboard? Have we talked about that on our series yet, Jamie? Does that ring a bell?
Not at all.
Okay, so let me show y'all this real quick while we're thinking about Instagram. I'll switch the view to my phone here. Because of the closed nature of Instagram, here's the workaround when you want to use soundboard content for Instagram. Okay, so let's go ahead and search for that National Women's Health thing, because that would be a good thing to post. Well, maybe not for me. We'll see what my friends think. National. Let's see. Okay, so here's this image that we've got for National Women's Health Week. So with no Instagram button here on Soundboard, how do we get this to Instagram? So at the top here where it says National Women's Health Week, image only, we're going to click that, and that's actually a link to the image itself where we host it on our server. So then you just tap and hold on the image until this pops up and save it, and that'll save it to your camera roll. And so now when you go over to Instagram and you want to create a post, then your image that you have saved is right there in your camera roll, just like any other image would be. And then you can do, whatever you want to it. And then Instagram, I'm sure if you use, does a really good job. So here's our active hashtag, National Women's Health Week. But
How
it
are you
does.
sharing your phone screen right now?
What?
How are you sharing your phone screen?
Oh, it's the Zoom feature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Zoom lets you do this if you install a little plugin.
Okay.
But Instagram does a really good job of showing you, active hashtags. So you can just start typing, and then you can see how many times that's being used. And so this will help you make decisions about, which ones you want to include on your post. So obviously, hashtag healthy food is the biggie that you'd want to include there to get noticed by the most people. So I'm actually not going to post this, but anyway, that's how you do it. That's how you get around that limitation of no share to Instagram button. But the soundboard's got the stuff for you. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to share a little bit, just real quick, if you are a power user of social, is HootSuite. So HootSuite is kind of like Buffer in that it's a free.com or free app, and it does allow you to do the same thing. You hook in your social media channels and you schedule stuff out. But the unique feature to HootSuite that is not present on Buffer is that it lets you hook in 3 things of any platform that you want. Now, I find HootSuite to be harder to use, clunkier, bulkier, higher learning curve, but it does let you hook in if you want to run a personal profile and a business page through it at the same time for free, you can. And Instagram's the same thing. You can hook it up, you can schedule it. It's just going to remind you to go do it on your own. But if you really, really want a solution to scheduling stuff out for a business page or even a group, we have Soundboard customers that run some of their stuff through Buffer, some of their stuff through HootSuite. That would drive me crazy, but maybe you could handle it. So anyway, just throwing this out there, that this is an option if you want to. And then the soundboard has a buffer button right here and a HootSuite button. So you can integrate with both quite easily. Okay, our next, anybody have thoughts, comments, questions before we hop to our next
I don't think so.
Okay, next thought is LinkedIn. Why have a presence on LinkedIn if you're an entrepreneur? Why have a presence on LinkedIn if you are an independent business person? Well, as Jamie will tell you, Jamie, I'm just going to tell everybody, Jamie.
Okay.
Jamie is playing an exciting role to come in Edge Theory, because Edge Theory is in the process of courting a number of venture capital firms in Silicon Valley, all around this idea that you, the independent business owner, are not well served when it comes to having marketing options for yourself. And we're positioning the soundboard to be the marketing platform for the independent business owner. And Jamie is going to be the face of that.
Yay.
She's going to be dissected by Silicon Valley rep or these VC guys who want to know how the independent business owner thinks and what the independent business owner needs. So all that to say, do not sell yourself short as an independent business owner thinking you don't have a voice or a role to play in this emerging economy that we're moving towards. And LinkedIn is a huge part of that, because LinkedIn is where you can be a thought leader in the business space. Because when you join LinkedIn, of course, you create a profile. It is not just a place where your resume hangs out. When you go to your home feed, people can post stuff. Here's my insurance agent. I taught his kids at school. He's posting about garden maintenance of all things. Why? I don't need to buy garden insurance, but he's now top of mind, and I for real know I need to call him about something, and that reminded me. So these are the kinds of things that people post. Of course, there's ads for sure, but there's the memes, there's the articles. There you go. Look, Tower Garden right there. This is a whole new way to connect with people. You as an entrepreneur are in a position to communicate with people. Y'all, there are 1,000,007 people on LinkedIn looking for more income, who may have jobs, who may have part-time jobs, who want badly the thing that you offer, which is an incredible company, an incredible business model. So think about it from that perspective. You can search for you can search for groups on LinkedIn just by searching for a term, and they have all these groups set up that you can join, where you, just like those Facebook groups that we talked about, you can post content into these groups, and these people want to know what you have to say.
Mm.
So there's option one with LinkedIn. Option
There's
two,
no hashtags in LinkedIn, right?
not really. Yeah, you don't need to worry about them in this one.
Yeah.
Option two with LinkedIn is this, and this is how my mom uses it. My mom is in Cabby Clothing, which is another direct sales company, women's clothes done through home shows.
Yep.
And she uses LinkedIn like Chamber of Commerce, where she has used it to connect with local jewelry boutique owners and local shoe store boutique owners and those kind of folks, because she sells clothes. But what she's done is she's made these partnerships and connections, and these ladies who own these shoe stores bring their shoes to the clothes show and their customers, and same with the jewelry ladies. And so you have these people who all are mixing their customer base and their products, and everybody has more options, and it's this fun thing. So I know that you cannot put product on somebody else's shelf, even if it's an independently owned health food store. But you can, and I saw Jennifer Langford doing this on Facebook the other day, where she was presenting. She presented in a classroom, but she also was presenting at some kind of like pregnancy health seminar in her area. So I know you can't put product on the shelf, but you can make connections with people who are giving, health talks at the local health food store. Is there somebody in your area that puts 5Ks together where you could have some kind of presence, or show up with a tower garden? I mean, what a great conversation starter. So think about it from those kinds of local business presence connections that are past, well, I can't put product on the shelf, so I'm not gonna, worry about it.
Right.
So, be creative with it from that perspective. So that's the LinkedIn thought. That's not even the right slide. Let's just close this. So does anybody have any thoughts, comments, questions? Let me ask this. Is anybody using Social 30? Has anybody checked it out yet?
Not yet, and maybe we were just waiting until this got done.
Yeah.
We kind of, eating the elephant one bite at a time.
Sure.
But yeah.
So Social 30, friendly reminder, free guide, social30.juiceplus.vip.
It would be super cool for, now that this is done, for like a challenge for a leader to do with their open. Yeah.
There you go. So it's a friendly, it's pretty much, I even ripped some of the fonts off the Transform 30 guide. But it's that whole, like, here's what to do, something to do every single day to help you learn something, grow your business, make it happen. So don't forget about that. That's a good, I guess, follow up on all the things we've talked about and covered over the past 6 weeks.
Well, we cannot say thank you enough. This has been awesome. We greatly appreciate you. We cannot wait to house you in Missouri here in July. We'll give you like a commemorative Empire coffee mug, so you can be part of our empire.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okie dokie, friends. Well, Jamie, let's just be in touch this week, and if you get some good feedback and if there's some interest, we'll do a Q&A next week. And if not, y'all Vox me, and I'll answer your questions.
We appreciate you.
Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody. Oh, okay. Somebody's saying, and she's right. We have an event with Dr. Bill Sears in St. Louis next Tuesday night. So I'll connect with you, James.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Good night, guys.
Night.